Well, if you wonder how venture capitalists spend their time, we're about to find out from Larry Goldfarb, who is a venture capitalist and has his own group, the LRG Group, right? Nice to see you, Larry. I know you just told me a moment ago your mother would prefer I call you Lawrence.
That is true.
But I'm going to stick with Larry for right now.
Okay.
She's in Florida. What does she know?
They don't have TV there.
That's right. Okay, now you were interested in this robotic program. We had some young people on here recently, and the thing walked in by itself and sat down and behaved itself. How did you got involved in that? Because
I met the organization, which is called FIRST, and its headquarters is in New Hampshire. It was started by a very famous entrepreneur gentleman by the name of Dean Kamen. And I met them through an alliance that we have with Microsoft, in which we invest in startup technology companies and life science companies. And the meeting took place where I first met them in Boston. And I live here in Marin, and I have a 9-year-old son. So I flew back here and started asking, where can I get my son in the local robotics program for the first
You weren't going to take him there and drop him off.
Of course I was.
Oh, I knew you had a motivation for doing that, right? Yeah.
And leave him there.
Yeah.
But so I came back here, and we had Autodesk here, as you know, is one of the largest
Right.
publicly traded corporation, which does all the CAD/CAM work. So
Yeah.
I figured, well, there has to be FIRST in Marin. To my chagrin, there was no FIRST in Marin. Of all the high schools around the country, and there's 32,000 high school students presently participating in this with over 3,000 high schools, including 4 in Hawaii.
Wow.
And we don't
But none
have
here.
none in Marin County,
okay.
and it actually angered me.
So you said, I'm mad as hell, I'm not going to take it anymore, probably.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
I have driven every local politician nuts, and I have driven the Board of Supervisors nuts,
Yeah.
and the principals of the schools, and we will have, by next year's competition, because it's a robotics competition
right.
that takes place in the Georgia Dome. Think about this.
Wow.
They fill up the Georgia Dome as would the NCAA basketball tournament. We call it the Tournament of Smarts.
Okay, now we're getting something from Marin to enter in that. Is that what I'm saying?
Right.
Who's doing it? Who's going to do it?
We have a number of high school principals that have stood up and said they want to be involved from the local high schools here, both public and private. And we have a number of corporations, including Autodesk, who's been extraordinarily supportive, that said they would provide mentors, and a number of other local corporations that would provide mentors and services and money. And the way we run FIRST is it's a business. It's run as if it's a business. And these kids, these high school students, not only are they learning all about science, technology, sportsmanship, but they're learning how to run a business because they have to run it as a business.
Okay, now will these kids be from a group of high schools? They don't have to be just from one place.
No, they don't have to be from one place.
They could high school.
They could be. Usually the way the teams work, because there could be as much as 32 people in a team. It's a very complicated business that they're running and building this robot for the competition. It's usually from one high school, but across the board there are plenty of situations where it's a mixture of high schools.
Yeah, okay. At this moment, as we speak, there are not young people in garages screwing together little metal parts? I mean, have you started to build things or what?
Nope, we have not gotten to that stage yet. We hope to be there by January, in which they will have the parts and start building the robots for the competition, which will take place in March.
You know, one of the things I would think would be a problem, I went to a high school in San Francisco, Lowell High. It didn't have any shops. There are a lot of schools, a lot of smart kids, but a lot of these kids, they haven't done physical kinds of things, of assembling things.
It is absolutely amazing. We take kids with no background in this whatsoever, and some of the girls who at first are totally not interested are in there with screwdrivers and hammers and doing all the sorts of things, and it's really, really, you got girls and guys doing there of all ages building this stuff. It's
you know
amazing.
what I found out after being married? Women are really smart. Larry, nice to have you here.
Nice,
Larry
thank you.
Goldfarb has been our guest. He is a venture capitalist looking to support the robotics program that's everywhere in the country and soon will be in Marin. Thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks.